last week was a very bad result. Let's not kid ourselves. Losing 3-1 away from home to Rennes, it wasn't a good night. But, and I'm not trying to sound overconfident or whatever, but I knew we weren't going out. I knew that we would turn it around. I still had confidence in the team. We were down to 10 men for a lot of that game. And I knew that with 11 men on the pitch, at home at the Emirates, where our form is extremely good. Obviously, I didn't know that we were going to beat Manchester United. Actually, I think at the time, I was predicting either a draw or a loss, which I know is not great. As an Arsenal fan, you want to predict wins, but I wasn't feeling too great going into that United game after their win against PSG. So we could have lost against United at home, and then maybe going into this game would have been different. But the reality is, it wasn't over because we were going to the Emirates, where our form is so strong. I thought we were going to win 2-0. I thought we were going to turn it around and go through on away goals. It turns out it was actually 3-0, and it was a very decent performance. I thought the first 15 minutes or so, we were just lightning quick, weren't we? Really strong start to the game, and that's exactly what we needed and what we haven't been doing this season. You know, if you're an Arsenal fan, you'll know, and probably you'll know if you're not an Arsenal fan too, but a lot of the times this season, I think is it 6 times now in the Premier League we've been ahead at half-time? 6. So it just goes to show that Arsenal have not been a strong team in first halves, in the Premier League at least. And it feels like that kind of form went into Europe as well. There were a lot of games where we were not leading at half-time. If anything, we were drawing 0-0 or we were losing. So it was really nice, really refreshing to get those 2 goals that we needed really quickly. I mean, technically, you could blow the whistle after 15 minutes and we're through. So it was really important that we started strong, and we did it. And it was just incredible to see how quick and how threatening our team can be going forward at pace, and with the creativity of Ramsey, Ozil, Aubameyang, Lacazette. It was extremely good. And Kolasinac as well. This guy, man, he eats something that isn't human. I wouldn't even drugs test him, I'd food test him. He's eating something that isn't right, okay? This guy is an absolute animal. I've never seen a player like Kolasinac before. He's built like a rugby player, but he's so quick. He's so good with the ball at his feet, most of the time. And his passing. I mean, Aubameyang's second goal, and he could have had 5 tonight, but Aubameyang's second goal, the assist from Kolasinac, just watch it back. The weight on that cross, the precision on the cross as well, to get it in between the goalkeeper and the defender, the curve on it, just whipped in, just bang. And it's just so easy for Aubameyang, who, let's be honest, most of his goals are tap-ins. He's a bit of a tap-in merchant, I get that. But you've got to be in the right place at the right time. All of the great goal scorers that are poachers, you know, Gary Lineker springs to mind. Michael Owen, really good poacher. You'd hear the same thing every time. Ian Wright, brilliant example, seeing as he was an Arsenal legend as well. You can say to someone like that and go, well, you only scored tap-ins and penalties. It's not hard, is it? First thing you'll say is, well, you've got to be in the right place. Okay, a lot of strikers will get a lot of goals elsewhere, but maybe they struggle to find those gaps in the box, to find those opportunities where a tap-in is that simple. And Aubameyang is just so good at that. And when you supply him with players like Ozil, who can ping in a ball, you've got Ainsley Maitland-Niles, who is doing a fantastic job at replacing Bellerin while he's injured. And then you've got Kolasinac, who's delivering those kind of passes in the box. It's a striker's heaven. It really is. And Aubameyang is just going to keep scoring goals. He just will keep scoring if we continue playing like that. Now, yes, and this is also annoying me a lot. I'm getting a lot of tweets, people going, oh, it's only Rennes. You know, last week, where were you guys then? You were all hammering us, you lost to this French farming side. Like, what are you doing? You're rubbish. And now all of a sudden we beat them 3-0 at home, and we've turned around what was quite a difficult deficit, and everyone's, oh, it's only Rennes. So you can't have it both ways. Okay, we went down to 10 men and we really struggled. Okay, it was a really tough game. We lost 3-1, deservedly so. But you know what? We've turned it around. So I think Arsenal are due some respect, especially from the fans that were giving us abuse, especially the United fans, because of course the night before they had that crazy game in Paris. So I can take banter, don't get me wrong, but you've got to give a bit of credit when credit's due. I think tonight a lot of teams would not have gone through because it's very it's very difficult to overturn a 3-1 deficit. It's a bit easier when you've got the home game up next, of course. And it's one of those games where, let's say you get to the 50th, 55th minute and you still haven't scored. The team is sitting back. They've got 11 players behind the ball. It's very, very difficult to get to 3 goals. But it was a case of getting that first goal and just hitting them on the break, loads of pressure, get that second goal. And then it's more of a just, okay, any goal now is obviously a bonus, but we're going through as it is. Let's take it easy. And it was a class game management game from Arsenal. It really was. It was game management at its finest. And to get the third was just a cherry on top. So let's go through the lineup, which you can see here, of course. Cech in goal. I thought he was okay today. Nothing spectacular. Was beaten at his near post in both halves. Luckily, both times hitting the post. One was offside, though. Actually, that was his far post. So, okay, fair enough. But I don't like to see goalkeepers beaten by their near post. It does wind me up. And yes, of course, I'm no goalkeeper. I know. But it's frustrating, isn't it? Because they're kind of there. You know, you just get down quickly, you know. And Cech, fair enough. You know, we got the clean sheet tonight. And he made a couple of saves. But nothing spectacular. If I was to give him a rating, it would be, you know, a 6 out of 10. It's a clean sheet. Well done. His distribution was somewhat okay. I don't know. It wasn't a very busy night for Cech, in fairness. I think our defence did pretty well. We'll just go down the list. So at right wing back or right mid, whatever you want to call it, we had Maitland-Niles, who for me was, again, one of our best performers. He really is starting to show that maybe this should be his position, especially seeing as we are obviously very light on that right side. We don't have Bellerin. Lichtsteiner is a liability. Don't even say Mustafi can play there. And then, of course, Jenkinson. Okay, levels here. Maitland-Niles for me, until Bellerin is back, training, getting a few games under his belt, play Maitland-Niles. I think he's proven to us that he's more than capable of playing at right wing back. So really, really enjoyed his performance. And he got his second goal for Arsenal tonight. I think it was his second goal. First one at the Emirates, I think. So really great to see that. Real passionate player. And I know he loves the club. And I hope he's here for many, many years. Because I think he's got real future ahead of him. So a solid 8 or maybe even a 9 out of 10 from Maitland-Niles. I'd go as far as saying he was one of our best players. Mustafi was okay. There was one moment in the first half when Niang hit the post. And it was just a pure error from Mustafi, and you want to die when you watch that kind of thing, because you just think to yourself, what is Emery thinking putting Mustafi in the team? Without Mustafi, I think we're a better team. I don't know if the stats line up with that theory, but we certainly look a more solid team defensively without Mustafi. He's just a headless chicken, but I don't think he did much wrong other than that. So pretty average performance, maybe a 5 out of 10 from Mustafi. Koscielny, I thought, was good tonight. Real commanding performance from him. And without Socrates, didn't seem to bother him too much. He was still bossing the defence around. And him and Monreal, I think they do work well together. They're very good at reading the game. And having Socrates in there just makes us just even stronger. But it was good to see that Mustafi didn't pull the whole defence down, if that makes sense. So I'd say Koscielny definitely had a good performance today. I thought Monreal wasn't as strong as he has been recently. I actually thought there was a few moments in the game where he was struggling, a few passes that went astray, but we didn't concede, so you can't be too angry at the entire defence, really. I thought Kolasinac, equally with Maitland-Niles, was just so good at going forward in this game and really, really helped the side. When you're playing this 3-4-3 formation, of course, defensively, you're almost playing with 5 at the back, but more importantly, when you're going forward, it's like having wingers, and they do such a good job of getting up and down the pitch. And honestly, you know, when both these players are doing their jobs, whether it's Bellerin or Ainsley Maitland-Niles, or if it's Kolasinac or whoever it is, Monreal maybe in some cases, when they're playing like that, it makes it so much easier for our midfielders to find space in and around the box, on the edge of the box, and of course, for our strikers to pick up the loose balls and score tap-ins. It just works, and I actually think this might be our strongest formation that we've used so far. I'm a big fan of the 4-2-3-1 as well. But the 3-4-3 or the 3-4-1-2, which we've been using as well, where we've had Aubameyang and Lacazette central with Özil behind them maybe, it seems to be working wonders. So I'd actually like to see us continue using this formation, especially in the Premier League. It does seem to do quite well, 3 at the back, because it's not a big deal, especially when you're at home, because we don't we don't give away a lot of possession at home. So when you've got a lot of possession, you can get away with having less players back. Of course, you're not gonna be under pressure all the time. So I just think it works. It really seems to work well. Granit Xhaka, I thought was okay. Another decent performance. A few loose balls. It happens. I think there was a few cases where I would have liked to seen him get his head up and pass forward when he was playing it back instead. But it was a good performance. He controlled things in midfield. But most importantly, he allowed Ramsey to play forward. Effectively, you've got Xhaka playing as the central midfielder, and you have Ramsey and Ozil just free roaming behind the front three, which was or the front two. It was really, really good to watch that today. So I think Xhaka needs credit for that, because he's not the most mobile player, and I don't think he's the most defensive-minded player, but he can do that job well. And if he allows Ramsey and Ozil to be creative, we were always going to do well in this game, I thought. So fair play. Ramsey had a good game. I think Ramsey. It's difficult talking about Ramsey because I know what we're losing at the end of this season, and I'm going to really miss the guy. But there were a few moments where he frustrated me today. He can be a bit greedy. I find that he almost tries too hard. There's a few players, I think, in the Premier League that do that a lot. Not necessarily Arsenal. I think other clubs have players like that where maybe they've had a very good period in their career and they're always trying to recapture that form, and they're just trying too hard. I think sometimes you need to let the football do its talking and be natural. And I think Ramsey he's susceptible to that. I think he gets the ball and he always just wants to make something happen right away. Instead, maybe he needs to take a bit more time. But I can't have a go at Ramsey because he's such a good player, and I'm going to really miss having him at the club. I really will. I'm so sad he's going. Even though sometimes he is one of the most frustrating players. A bit hot and cold sometimes. Ozil I thought was okay. Again, nothing too crazy from him tonight, but he didn't disappear. So that's always a bonus. And some of the passing in and around the box was very good. And then Lacazette and Aubameyang doing their thing. I thought Lacazette had a bit of an off game, actually. Picked up a yellow card and maybe could have picked up a second yellow. So I was interested to see whether we were going to take him off earlier than we expected. But Aubameyang with his 2 goals. Probably should have had a few more, though. I think, in general, the team get a 7 out of 10. I don't think it was a great performance, especially the majority of the game. But the start was explosive. It was frightening, and you could see that Rennes were just shocked, completely shocked, because within 15 minutes all that hard work was undone, and they needed us to go down to 10 men to have a chance. They had a few good opportunities, and I'm not taking the mickey out of them. I think they've got a very, very solid team and some great players in there, but unfortunately when you come to the Emirates you have to take your chances, and they didn't. They were a little bit unlucky, just maybe not clinical enough. But ultimately, guys, our name is going into the hats. We're going to be, or in the hat, I should say. Hopefully there's no hats. They can exchange and rig the selection. But no, I very much doubt that. But that's the thing that matters. Didn't care about the performance. I didn't care about who scored, whatever. As long as we got the result today, a 2-0 would have been fine, and we got 3-0. So really happy with the clean sheet. And we go into the next game, which is at the weekend, with a few really good results in the bag. So very happy with that, and I'm looking forward to seeing who we get in the quarterfinals. So thank you so much for watching this review. If you have enjoyed it, please do leave a like rating. Make sure you subscribe as well, and I will see you next time.